Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my reaction weekly for this season for the 4th episode of The Walking Dead Season 8 Some Guy. Oh man, that was so sad. Ah, Shiva! Spoiler warning if you guys haven't seen the episode yet. So, man, I knew it was coming. Like, you know, if you've read the Walking Dead comic book series, you kind of could see it coming. We saw in the promos that this episode was going to seemingly, concentrate quite a bit on Carol, but it was cool to see that the some guy, being just some guy, refers to Ezekiel, which is the title of the episode. And of course, in the predictions, we're like, well, who could be this some guy character? And it turns out this one is actually Ezekiel. So, oh man, the ending of this episode, to see Shiva get killed in such a way was it was crazy to see in the television series version. I would say way more sad than it was in the comics. This was actually a really, really sad ending to this episode. And I thought that they did it pretty brilliantly in terms of, like, you know, filling in the audience at kind of just the right time, where you kind of do this whole episode where you focus. You have some other stuff happening too. So you have Rick and Daryl that come in there, which was freaking awesome, especially when you hear kind of the sound of the motorcycle and things like that. And then Carol becomes confident again, which was really cool. So there was some really great stuff in the episode with that. But then at the same time, you get kind of the super sad death of Shiva, the tiger, at the end. And also Ezekiel kind of giving a little bit of backstory for us on how his relationship with Shiva kind of started, and how he helped her, and she grew affection towards him back, and how he was a zookeeper and this kind of thing. And it just made the ending of the episode so sad, man. I mean, we've had some pretty sad deaths in The Walking Dead for sure so far throughout the course of the series, but this one, I would actually say, surprisingly, would have to maybe be up there. I'm not sure if it's kind of like, you know, because I think we all know what it feels like if you have a pet that you really like a lot and it dies and that kind of thing. Granted, it usually isn't eaten alive by zombies and toxic waste. By toxic waste, swamp zombies. That's kind of a new one. But just the way they did in the TV series, I thought was brilliantly handled. The way they made the episode very much about Ezekiel. And I think that what they did here really takes Ezekiel for your casual viewers who never read the comic book series, and really kind of brings him to another level where people are going to feel kind of more for him after seeing an episode like this, because he's suffered such a tragic loss. I mean, we follow Rick and the others throughout the series, of course, but in this episode, Ezekiel loses almost everything. He loses pretty much his whole army except for Jerry and Carol, and then to the point where he even loses Shiva at the end, was just really sad. I don't know if I could say it's like the saddest death ever, because you did have, you know, Lizzie and some of the other characters throughout. Carol's been involved with a lot of these really sad deaths, but this one has to be up there. I mean, it really does have to be up there. And I mean, it makes sense for them to do it. You know, it'd be cool to see Shiva survive in the series, but the thing is that it's hard for them to do it. They have to do CG every scene that she's in. They have to have certain scenes where she's around, and then other scenes where she's kind of gone in the woods or something, and we have to kind of put that together, where it's like sometimes we get to see her, other times we can't, whereas in a comic book series version, you could just like draw her in pretty much all the time. Every time you see Ezekiel, there's Shiva right beside him. In the TV series, not so easy to do that. Because you have to, you know, it takes a lot of time to do all the CG and do all the stuff they want to do with the tiger as it goes through. But man, what a sad ending to the episode. Aside from that, I mean, there was some really exciting action sequences in the episode, though. I loved the chase scene, and kind of have Daryl and Rick kind of going after him. That was just so sick. And you know, when Carol says as well too that they're not getting to the sanctuary, right? It was just really cool, and you just hear it come up, and it was pretty exciting. The only thing I thought was a little strange was the zooms. You know how it zooms in on Daryl and zooms in on Ray. It's like, that was a little odd, but you know, that was really cool. So another awesome episode. This isn't my full review. This is just kind of my initial sort of emotional reaction. And I do want to say, you know, this is a tearjerker, man. At the end of this episode, it was really, really sad. And you know, I mean, it's just it makes sense for them to do it, right? It's Walking Dead. You kill off pretty much everybody. But in this case, is like, you know, it makes even more sense for them to do it because it's really hard for them to deal with having to do the tiger every time you want to have, you know, kind of the kingdom as a whole, right? The kingdom, you're going to have the tiger, you're going to have Ezekiel, you're going to have all the people. And in this episode, we basically see the kingdom just decimated to almost nothing by the end when they return back in a very sad sequence, to the point where Ezekiel can't even address his people. He can't even say anything. All he can do is just walk off. So I'll be back in a bit, probably half an hour, with the full length review where we go through every scene, guys. Very sad episode, but very exciting episode of parts as well too. So let me know how you guys felt after just seeing it, what your reaction was. Write your comments below on how you felt about this one, whether or not you cared, or if, you know, you just felt like, you know, it was just like me, really sad one. Surprisingly more sad than it was in the comics, and more sad than I thought it would be to actually see it play out. When it was happening, I didn't want to see it at that point. I was like, oh no, you know, I don't want to see that, especially when Ezekiel has to watch, but there's nothing he can do. And also that it made sense there's nothing he can do, because over the episode he's like broken down. He's injured at the beginning, and then he's going, and you got this nerdy guy who's got a gun on him and everything, and then Jerry saves him, and then he's fighting for his life. And so even just like exertion from fighting off all these zombies and everything, and to the point where their weapons are all smashed apart and everything, like the axe, the battle axe goes down, Jerry's battle axe, they run out of ammo, and oh man, it was really crazy. So if you like this reaction video, guys, please thumb it up below. Kind of a sad one this week, and share and you know, favorite, and check back in about an hour for the full review after I get myself you know, kind of leveled out here. So for this video, guys, I'll see you again soon in an hour. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.